everybody wants more money in their business. It's something that everybody wants. But do you think people are focusing too much on new business and not as much on getting as much money as they can from their current clients?
On balance, yes. Obviously, it depends what you sell and who you sell it to. Some people just sell once to a client and have to move on because they're very high level, C levels or whatever, C-suite. But broadly speaking, if you've got a client, you can do more with them almost always. And I think it was PwC that did a study of a range of service businesses some years ago, concluded that there's around about 20% growth in each of the clients that they looked at. And some of that was down to cross-selling, i.e. selling different services to the same people. Some of that was introducing yourself to new buyers within the same organization. But bottom line is there's dosh to be had with your current client.
Yeah, and of course we are talking about ethical revenue. Now, you made a mistake about this, didn't you? You didn't understand your client market, and this cost you big style. Do you want to tell people that story?
Yes, actually, it's a salient tale, one of lost opportunity and huge amounts of dough. Some years ago, we were appointed as preferred suppliers to DHL to supply contract staff. We were very excited because we'd had no connection with them at all before this time, and we went through the tendering process. We were appointed. So we sat there and we waited for the vacancies to come through and nothing happened. 12 months down the line, we hadn't placed a single person there and we were thrown off the list. I managed to secure a debrief call, post-mortem to see what had happened. And basically what they said to me was, well, you just had the permission to supply, but there wasn't a right. You had to go out there and build relationships with the hiring managers and they give you vacancies. And we didn't know that. Big mistake on our part. So broadly speaking, what you have to do, especially if you win bigger clients, as soon as you win the client, you have to build a deployment plan. Yeah. So you have to have a plan to get yourself into every nook and cranny of that business and squeeze every ounce of ethical revenue from those clients. Now, you can actually do deployment plans for existing clients. So you don't have to do this for new ones. You can do it for existing clients where you think there would be some money up for grabs that you're currently not getting, up to 20% according to PwC.
I just want to highlight something you said there, Mike. You said ethical revenue, because we're not talking here about selling, a fridge to an Eskimo here. We're talking about things that they actually need, aren't they?
Yes, we're big believers in ethical selling because those relationships then last longer. Quite frankly, it's the right thing to do. So essentially what we're talking about is get your flavor of recruitment in front of as many potential buyers of it as you can. And then the ones that want it and need it will take it. And those that don't, well, fine, they don't. Yeah, so ethical selling.
Okay, perfect. So you also mentioned a deployment plan. Can you give us a little bit more detail about what a deployment plan would actually involve?
Yes, I can. And it comes in 3 stages. So the first thing you have to do is build an account map. In other words, you have to identify all the decision makers, key influencers, and more importantly, users or buyers of your service. In other words, people that give out vacancies to agencies. Now, that's down to a combination of LinkedIn, talking to people you already know there. If you've got the right relationship with the person that brought you in, the decision maker, you go and see them and they'll tell you normally who exactly you should be speaking to. But you need to produce that map. It can have a minimal amount of information on, which is, well, their name, a job title perhaps. Or you can take it all the way up to the kind of vacancies that they give out, how much money you think that they spend on recruitment, and the existing agencies that they use. You choose really, but you have to have a map. So the second thing is you have to figure out how you can start a relationship with each of those people. By far and away, the best thing is to be introduced by somebody that knows you and knows them, somebody else at work. And that could be the current hiring manager you're dealing with, or perhaps it's again the decision maker that brought you in. Sometimes they will do it to you. One time for an insurance company, the decision maker suggested that we just run a couple of social events where we put on beer and sandwiches, which is what we did, and people came and we met people that way. Take the advice of the decision maker and try and be creative around how you do that. But either way, you have to start a conversation with them. And then thirdly, what you have to do is give each hiring manager a care regime. So in other words, a 3-tier care regime, which you've heard me speak about before, so that you keep in contact with them. And when opportunities come up, you get a shout at them. Those 3 things constitute a deployment plan. And within that, there is some relatively easy money to be had.
I mean, realistically, Mike, from what you've said, you've done the hard bit, which is actually getting the client and doing all of that work and everything now. And this is just kind of getting in and making sure that your face is known on site.
Yeah, it's relatively easy money. I mean, I think 20%, certainly with big accounts, is a small number. I think that with established clients, with new clients, it's like huge, really. And all you need to do is be organized and determined, and you can take some of that money for yourself.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Ask Mike. And as always, if you've got anything to say, please let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe and tap that bell so that you regularly get told about any of our new episodes. As always, if there's anything you want to talk to us about, either connect to us on LinkedIn or let us know below, and we will create that content for you. As we say, Blair, if you want it, go and get it, and I'll see you next time.